Okay, let's dive right in. I want you to think about this for a second. What if your life wasn't something you just watched happen to you? What if, instead, you could grab the director's chair and start calling the shots? Like you're making a blockbuster movie? You know that feeling when it seems like you're just an extra in someone else's story? Like you're stuck on a set you can't stand, reading lines from a script that you definitely did not write for yourself. Sound familiar? And here's the thing. This is the root of the problem for so many of us. We're just living on autopilot, right? We flow through the same scenes day in and day out, and we wonder why we feel like we're just stuck in this tailspin. There's no real plot, there's no direction. It's just kind of this endless, boring loop. But what if the answer isn't about just trying harder? What if it's about thinking completely differently? This is where it gets interesting. It's a huge shift in perspective. You stop reacting to whatever life throws at you, and you start actively designing it. Think about that. It's the difference between just drifting day to day versus following a script that you wrote. And that, right there, is how you go from feeling stuck to finally taking real, intentional action. So that brings us to Act 1, writing the script. And listen, every great movie starts with an amazing screenplay, right? This part, the pre-production, it is everything. This is where you lay the entire foundation for your masterpiece. Okay, so how do you actually do this? How do you write this live script? Well, first, you've got to find your quiet set, a place where you can really think. Then you get into the details, and I mean all the details, using every sense. Don't just write down, I want a new job. No way. You've got to describe the smell of fresh coffee in your new office, the sound of your team laughing and collaborating. And here's the most important part, maybe the hardest part. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just dream. And here's a fantastic little trick. Keep the script somewhere you'll see it every day, like on the fridge. Then for a whole month, add one new little detail every single day. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. A movie director would never show up on set without a script and just wing it. That's insane. And yet, that's exactly how so many of us approach our own lives. So taking the time to write out a detailed plan isn't just a nice little suggestion. It's absolutely the most critical first step. A lot of the time, it's the only thing standing between success and failure. Period. All right, and that leads us right into Act 2. Time for action. The prep work is done, you've got your screenplay polished and ready. Now, it's time to take it from the page to the big screen. Okay, so let's build this production. First up, the lead actor. Well, that's you. You have to start playing the part of the person you want to become. Then, look at your sets, your environment. Does your home, your office, does it support this new role you're playing? And what about the supporting cast? The people around you? Are they cheering you on or are they holding you back? And finally, the daily takes. These are the small, consistent actions that actually move the story forward. Yeah, getting into character, it's all about a massive mindset shift. It's about flipping that switch in your brain from I can't to, okay, how can I? It's about ditching those old autopilot habits and replacing them with intentional ones. You stop being passive and you start being proactive, making choices that actually serve the story you want to tell. So, what do these daily takes actually look like in the real world? Well, they're not huge, scary things. They're small, consistent actions. If you want to be an author, you just write for 15 minutes a day. That's it. Looking for a new career? Just try to network with one new person this week. See? These are the little seeds you plant. Things like stocking your fridge with healthier food, or just deciding to reach out to one old friend. It's those small things that, over time, grow into your brand new reality. And you know, it all boils down to this one single powerful word. It's the most important word in filmmaking, and it's the most important word in your life too. You can have the most perfect script, the absolute best cast, the most beautiful sets, but if the director never ever yells, "Action!" well, the movie never gets made. You absolutely must take action. All right, which brings us to the final act. Act 3, the final cut. Look, no movie is perfect on the first take. It just isn't. The real magic, the real genius, it happens in the editing room. That's where you get to refine your story, polish it up, and start planning for what comes next. So what happens when things just go wrong? Because let's be real, they will. You're going to make mistakes. Scenes are not going to go the way you planned. But instead of seeing those as failures, you've got to reframe them. Just think of them as your life's gag reel, a collection of bloopers that you can laugh about later, learn something from, and then just move on. This editing process is actually pretty straightforward. You just look at your current life, that's your rough cut, and you compare it to the script you wrote. Find a scene that isn't working for you. Maybe it's that tedious job. Then you look at your goal, like running your own business. And then you write an editing note for yourself. What's the one small change you can make? The one specific action? Maybe it's just network with one entrepreneur this week. That's how you start moving closer to that final cut. And here's a really cool way to think about it. Don't see your first big goal as the grand finale, the end of the movie. No. Think of it as the first blockbuster film in a huge, successful franchise. Once you hit that first goal, great. Now it's time to start writing the sequel. Your life isn't just one film, it's a whole series, and it's always evolving. So at the end of the day, just remember this. You're not just one person in this production. You hold all the key roles. You're the executive producer who has the vision, you're the director calling every single shot, and you're the star who brings it all to life. The power to create your own masterpiece, it is 100% in your hands. So, the script is blank. The camera is ready to roll. There's only one question left to ask. What's your movie going to be about?